But we've come to Linear Park, and this is situated very close to the M4 junction 12. All pretty much used to be floodplain here, and it still is to a great degree, but of course it's very dry at the moment. We have had some rain today, but it's basically managed as a park. It spreads quite a long way. We won't cover all of it today. I think this is under West Berkshire Council, so it's a slightly different management to many of the parks in Reading, which we normally visit. It's pretty well maintained, and as you'll see, it's got quite a few amenities which are very appealing. A big community centre, we'll show you that in a minute. Football pitches, sorry. In summer they do a lot of tournaments here, and obviously the kids play here on a weekly basis, and a decent playground. Right, so you have the football fields, and if you see over there, there's a line of willow trees which has some ditch to take the flood water out. Come here, Pix. And a playground over there. Pixar. And we've got some skateboarding, which actually a few kids do play on. And the other side of this is a path which I normally come down. And you can see back there the community centre. I say, they've put quite a bit of effort into this. Probably because they had to do something so they could build all the houses. There's an awful lot of flood management going on in this park though. The surface water, I guess. And you've got the railway tracks up there, which is the main line to, I'm not even sure where it's to. I think it's the main line to Newbury. It seems quite a busy line anyway. If there is one problem with this place, it's that it does suffer when it's in the midst of winter. It is very muddy. You see at the moment that could be full of sort of reeds in the middle of summer, and the deer in there is actually a deer over there. I doubt that the camera will pick it up. You'll see its ears flicking, but there's a little deer in the middle over there, and I can just see his ears flicking, but I doubt that the camera's going to pick it up. Here we have where the river comes under the railway. This is what they term the Holy Brook. I believe that's what it is. I may be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. But water, originally this was dug by hand to ferry water in to the monks at Reading Abbey, because the river water, as in the Thames, was not fit for drinking in any way, shape or form in those days. Basically, they used to use it as a sewer. So from here on, we follow along the line of the river. And that you would think would be full of fish, but it is not. What it is full of is, I think they're called signal crayfish, destroying the place. They're destroying the banks. They eat everything, and nothing is safe from them, as far as I can tell. As you can see, these are, at the moment it's a lovely field you can walk across. It gets very boggy normally, as I say. You can see by this raised bank here, it's all very, very boggy. This in the winter was underwater all the way across here, and underwater for some time. And certainly last year when we had all the rain, very quickly fills up and swamps the place. Now last time I came down there was only a week ago, if that, I think. There were mayflies. I mean, literally the air was just alive with them.
and nothing now. The whole place wasn't buzzing, it was just a sea of them. And now they're gone. In actual fact, when you stood on the bridge, we'll get to the bridge in a moment, stood on the bridge and it looked like there was a lot of leaf. Yeah, the whole surface of the water was covered in mayflies, either hatching or drowning or whatever they do. There's a train coming through. So where are we now? 23rd of May? You see, if you look along the banks and you see some of the erosion, these little crayfish claws. But this is low, it's been much higher through the winter, obviously. It's got some sluice gates that leak out back to the Kennet, I guess. A few more hens. I'd like to think there are a few fish in there surviving. It's quite shallow. There's you just see the weed under there. And this backfield has been planted with some trees and an avenue and some of that lest we forget stuff. These trees have taken quite well. Doesn't take. The water's not too bad here, but then it's got the river between it. And lest we forget bench. As you can see, they're cut rides in here. Yes, all in good, very pleasant. Railway line there, as I said. Quite busy line. There's some big old goods trains going down there. I guess going down towards the West Country, if that's the way it goes. Through this way, there's another little field there. It's been actually very well planted. So as I say, they've done a lot of work. And come down by the side of the Holy Brook again. I think it's the Holy Brook, I don't really know which one's which. Little walkway bridge. And this one, I don't know how long it's been here, but it's a concrete base, but it's obviously on a steel frame, but it bounces, little bounces, you can definitely feel a movement on it. As I say, whether this is the Holy Brook or not, I don't know, but it's got the makings of it. We come up here into some privately owned fields. Oh, the sheep have gone. Well, they've moved in. Right, you can see I assume this is some sort of mill house. It's called Brook Barn, but I'm pretty sure once upon a time that river would have run under the house. It diverts now, as you can hear it roaring down there. As I say, it's a idyllic setting. And then you have a map of Linear Park. So you are here. That shows us where we've come from, the community centre. And then there is another section, as I say, along there, following along the railway line. And it says where Holy Brook is. We're not quite sure. Oh yeah, that would indicate the Holy Brook comes up this way. And I can't believe it just stops. So according to our statement here, it's 36 hectares of, well, this is quite a big area. Yes, there's Calcot Mill, it is Calcot Mill. There's a mill. can see it's nice and close. If you live over there, it's nice. This tree looks very poorly, but in actual fact, something called an ermine moth. And within this webbing, there will be caterpillars, and they're all in there. Looks really spooky. Covers the whole tree, even the trunk. There's a couple of trees affected by it, but apparently it doesn't damage the trees. But at some point in time, all those little caterpillars are going to become, aren't they? So I understand that some of the local residents, have said, said to the council, can't you control it? Of course, it's nature, so they're not even going to try, aren't they? I think a couple of years ago, this tree just behind this one obviously chooses what tree it wants, because that tree's not affected. But this tree is the one that was I first saw, and this was massive, massively infected. But yeah, they weave this cobweb-like material all over it. Even the trunk, look. It's almost like a plastic skin. And if you see there, you can see the little caterpillars are actually moving around. So even down there, you see there really is. I don't know what one would term this stuff. It is just like plastic. But nice and cool in here. There's a couple of little walkways through in there in the dark woods. Basically, the dog doesn't like getting lost. More storm drain. This one doesn't seem to flow very fast. Very shallow, probably just mud. And to our right, there's another playground to the right there. But we'll go up here, up into the woodland. Yeah, there's a playground over there. We'll come into this bit of woodland. Again, the council making good on a promise, I guess, they made to keep it tidy and keep up with it. Now we come to the end of our little walk. There's a little garden here, I don't know, doesn't seem to be any remembrance or anything stationed anywhere, but nonetheless it's a little bit of garden they've made. Perhaps for schools or something. Let's have a look in here then, Pixar. We'll go in a minute. Yeah, it's quite a tended little piece of garden, maybe remembrance or something. And I would think they maybe do some little things for the kiddies, maybe woodcraft, Boy Scout stuff. That looks old enough to be something that once upon a time worked. And that's about it. We're back to the car. Quite a lot of parking, as I say, as long as there's not a football tournament on, we're all right. And that's the path that leads down the other side